What if the real reason your life hasn't changed is because you're waiting for the wrong moment? Imagine having 10 powerful keys that could unlock a version of your life you've only dreamed about. Would you use them? The difference between where you are and where you want to be might just start with one brutal truth. You're responsible. You can change your life anytime you choose. That's not a cliche. That's a fact. The power to transform your life has always been in your hands. While you can't flip your entire destination overnight, you can change the direction you're heading, starting tonight, starting right now. So, how exactly do you begin that change? Years ago, I had the life-changing fortune of meeting Mr. Schoaf. During one of our conversations, he shared something simple yet incredibly profound. There are just a handful of principles, around half a dozen, that truly make the biggest difference in a person's life. Over the years, I've added a few insights of my own to that list. And today, I want to share them with you. The 10 powerful keys to dramatically transform your life. Let's begin with the very first key. Taking full responsibility for where you are right now. It all starts with ownership. Complete, unapologetic ownership. Every aspect of your life, the successes, the setbacks, the struggles, and the joys, you've played a role in shaping them. That's a tough pill to swallow sometimes, but it's a necessary one. Why? Because the moment you stop blaming other people or external situations, you reclaim your power. You stop being a victim of circumstance, and you start being the author of change. Blame is seductive. It gives us a temporary relief by pointing fingers at others. But here's the trap. When you assign blame, you give away your control. And when you lose control, you lose your ability to steer your life in a better direction. But the instant you take responsibility, that's when the magic happens. That's when you realize, I have the power to shift things. I can choose a new This isn't just a change in words. It's a deep internal shift from being reactive to being proactive. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I do about it? And this mindset applies to every area of your life. Let's talk money. If your financial life isn't where you want it to be, it's easy to blame the economy, your boss, or the rising cost of living. But what if, instead, you asked, what can I do to improve this? That's where progress begins. Maybe it means learning a new skill, finding a side hustle, or managing your spending with more discipline. You'd be surprised how quickly your financial reality shifts when your mindset does first. Or take relationships. When something feels off, it's natural to look outward and think, they don't understand me, or they don't appreciate me. But what happens when you flip that question inward? What if you chose to listen more, to show gratitude more often, or to communicate more clearly? When you take responsibility in your relationships, you unlock the power to heal, improve, and even transform them. So here's the foundation of it all. Own your life. Own your decisions, your habits, your responses. It's the first, and perhaps most important step toward creating lasting, meaningful change. And once you've embraced responsibility, it's time to get clear. Because the second key to transforming your life is all about setting specific, powerful goals. But more on that in just a moment. We just talked about the power of taking full responsibility and the clarity that comes from setting specific goals. Now let's go a little deeper. Because once you know exactly what you want, the way forward begins to light up. I still remember the moment vividly when I gave a vague answer about my goals. Mr. Schoaf looked at me and said something that stuck with me forever. Jim, you need to be specific. If you don't know what you want, how will you ever get it? That one question shook me. That night, I sat down with a pen and paper and did something I had never done before. I wrote down exactly what I wanted out of life. No more guessing, no more general hopes. I got specific, and everything changed. Once my goals were written, Down in black and white, suddenly, everything I did had intention behind it. My focus sharpened. My decisions started aligning with my vision. I stopped drifting and started steering my life with purpose. Goals aren't just dreams. They are your internal compass. They give your life direction, purpose, and meaning. So, don't rush this step. Take the time to truly think about what you want. Be bold, dream big, and most importantly, write it all down. Because here's the truth. The only real limits that exist are the ones we set for ourselves. Once you create a crystal clear picture of what you're striving for, you'll be amazed at how fast things start moving in the right direction. But clarity alone isn't enough. That brings us to the third key to dramatically improving your life: discipline. Goals tell you where you want to go, but discipline is the engine that actually gets you there. Discipline is the daily decision to do what must be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It's about following through, even when motivation fades. It's consistency over convenience. It's choosing growth over comfort. Let's be honest. It's much easier to stick with what's familiar, to avoid discomfort, to push things off until tomorrow. But growth doesn't come from comfort. Change doesn't live in the easy places. If you want a better life, you need to be willing to lean into the hard stuff, and that takes real discipline. Think about it. Where in your life could discipline make a real difference? Maybe it's your finances. Are you budgeting wisely? Are you saving regularly? Or are you spending impulsively and hoping things work out? Financial discipline isn't just about saving money. It's about creating freedom and stability for your future. But let me be clear. Discipline doesn't mean being perfect. We all have off days. You'll slip up, you'll miss a target, or fall short of a habit, and that's okay. What really matters is how quickly you get back on track. Don't let one bad day spiral into a bad week or a lost month. The most successful people aren't perfect. They're persistent. They show up again and again. They do the work even when no one's watching, even when they don't feel like it. And over time, that steady discipline transforms everything. So let me ask you, what's one area of your life where you could be more disciplined? Start small. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Cut out one bad habit. Begin a simple routine that supports your goals. Brick by brick, you build the foundation for a stronger, more focused life. And once discipline becomes part of who you are, you're ready for the next step. Because now, it's time for the fourth key, developing a growth mindset. That's where we're heading next. In the previous part, we explored the power of building a growth mindset, committing to lifelong learning and constant self-improvement. Now let's look at how that mindset grows exponentially when you surround yourself with the right people. Think of personal development, like planting seeds in a garden. Every book you read, every seminar you attend, every valuable conversation with a mentor, it's all nourishment. It's an investment in your future. And the return? It's often far beyond what you can measure in money. It shows up in wisdom, in stronger relationships and new opportunities, and in the person you're becoming every single day. That's the essence of real growth. It's not just about reaching a goal. It's about becoming someone who consistently reaches goals because they've developed the habits, mindset, and discipline to do so. But here's something most people overlook. Your environment matters a lot. That brings us to the fifth key to dramatically improving your life. Surround yourself with people who elevate you, those who challenge, support, and inspire you to be better. You've probably heard this idea before. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Pause for a moment and really think about that. Who are the people you're letting into your inner world? Are they pushing you toward your goals? Or are they quietly pulling you away from them? Are they encouraging you to grow, or keeping you stuck in patterns that no longer serve your future? Whether we realize it or not, the people around us shape our mindset, our habits, and ultimately, the trajectory of our lives. If you want to raise your standards, you have to raise the standard for who you allow to influence you. Now, that doesn't mean you have to cut everyone out of your life. Some relationships are deeply personal, even tied to family, and they matter. But it does mean you need to evaluate those relationships honestly. Are they lifting you up or draining your energy? If someone in your circle is constantly negative, toxic, or unsupportive, it might be time to set healthy boundaries. Your energy is too valuable to spend on people who don't believe in your growth. Seek out those who inspire you, people who are further along on the path you want to walk. If you want to be financially free, spend time with those who have achieved it. If you want to improve your health, connect with people who live that lifestyle. Why? Because success leaves clues. Their mindset, their discipline, their habits, they'll naturally begin to influence yours. That's the quiet, powerful force of association. Here's the truth. You can't outgrow your environment. If you're surrounded by people who are satisfied with mediocrity, it becomes incredibly difficult to strive for greatness. On the flip side, when you surround yourself with ambitious individuals who chase big dreams and push themselves every day, you feel it. You get pulled upward. Their energy becomes contagious. But this principle isn't just about being around people who are successful. It's just as important, if not more so, to be around people who are positive. Negativity is infectious. Spend too much time around complainers, pessimists, or those who always focus on what's wrong, and soon you'll start to see life through that same gray lens. But when you choose to be around optimistic, solution-focused people, your whole perspective begins to shift. They help you see opportunity in the middle of challenge. They believe in abundance where others only see scarcity. I remember early in my career, I had to make a tough decision. I realized that some of the people closest to me weren't heading in the direction I wanted to go. They weren't bad people, but they weren't helping me grow. So, I made a choice. I started seeking out mentors. I spent more time with driven, successful individuals who challenged me to level up. That decision changed everything. The conversations became deeper. The energy was more inspiring. And more than anything, I began to grow in ways I never had before. So if you truly want to change your life, start by looking at who you're spending your time with. And as you begin to upgrade your environment, there's another powerful shift waiting ahead. The sixth key will help you unlock your full potential from the inside out. Previously, we talked about the importance of who you surround yourself with, because your environment can either lift you up or hold you down. Now, let's move to something just as powerful: how you manage your most valuable non-renewable asset, your time. This is the sixth key to dramatically improving your life: effective time management. Time is the one resource we all share equally. Each of us gets the same 24 hours in a day, no more, no less. But have you ever noticed how some people seem to get so much done while others struggle just to keep up? The difference isn't in the number of hours. It's in how those hours are used. And that's where time management becomes a game changer. But here's a crucial insight. Time management is really about self-management. Time doesn't stop. It doesn't slow down when you're tired or speed up when you're inspired. It moves at the same pace no matter what. So, what you're really managing isn't the clock. It's your focus, your energy, your priorities, and your daily decisions. Successful people don't necessarily work harder. They work smarter. They've learned how to prioritize what matters most, eliminate distractions, and stay aligned with their goals. One of the most powerful tools they use is something called the 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle. The 80-20 rule states that 80% of your results come from 20% of your activities. In other words, not everything on your to-do list deserves your attention. Some tasks are simply far more impactful than others. The key is to identify which 20% of your efforts will produce the most meaningful outcomes and double down on those. Think about your business or job. Chances are, a small portion of your clients or efforts bring in the majority of your income. In your personal life, a few core habits probably contribute most to your health, happiness, and well-being. Once you identify those high-impact actions, you gain clarity on where your time should go. Another vital aspect of time management? Learning to say no. Your time is precious, and every time you say yes to something unimportant, you're saying no to something that truly matters. If you constantly fill your schedule with low-priority tasks or obligations that don't align with your values, you'll find yourself too drained to focus on what really counts: your health, your goals, your relationships. So don't feel guilty for setting boundaries. Protecting your time means protecting your future. Here's a strategy I've personally found incredibly helpful. Plan your day the night before. Take just 10 to 15 minutes each evening to look ahead. Identify your top priorities for the next day and write them down. That way, when you wake up in the morning, you won't waste energy deciding what to do. You'll already have a clear, focused plan. You'll start your day with direction instead of distraction. Now, there's one more thing that people often overlook when it comes to managing time effectively: rest. Yes, rest is part of the equation. Time management isn't about being productive every minute of the day or grinding until you collapse. It's about balance. If you're constantly pushing without allowing yourself space to rest and recharge, you'll burn out, and everything you've worked for will begin to suffer. So make time to relax. Schedule moments for hobbies, for joy, for the things that make life rich and fulfilling. Because when you're well-rested and mentally clear, your work becomes sharper, your focus stronger, and your results far better. And now that we've learned to manage our time, it's time to look inward. Because the seventh key to improving your life is perhaps the most personal of all: mastering your emotions. In the previous section, we explored the power of emotional mastery, learning how to respond, not just react, to the signals your feelings send. Now, let's build on that foundation with something just as essential: the well-being of the body that carries those emotions every single day. Think about it. When you feel anger, it's often your inner self signaling that something has gone wrong. Maybe a personal boundary was crossed, or you felt disrespected. When you feel fear, it's usually your mind alerting you to a perceived danger or risk. Emotions are not your enemy. They are messengers, loaded with information. The key is to not let them hijack your actions. Instead, learn to respond to them thoughtfully, with intention, not impulsively. Because when you choose your response, you choose your direction. That leads us into the eighth key to dramatically improving your life: taking care of your body. It might sound basic, even obvious, but it's absolutely foundational. If your body isn't functioning at its best, everything else in your life will feel the impact. Your focus, your productivity, your motivation, and even your mood. You can have all the drive, ambition, and dreams in the world. But if your physical health can't keep up, your progress will stall. Now, this isn't about becoming a fitness model or running ultramarathons, unless that's your passion. It's about maintaining a level of health that supports your energy, your goals, and your overall quality of life. Your body is your vehicle through this journey called life. If it breaks down, you don't get very far, do you? Imagine owning a high-performance sports car. Would you neglect oil changes, ignore the dashboard warnings, skip regular maintenance? Of course not. You'd take care of it, refuel it with the right gas, service it regularly, and treat it like an asset. So why should your body be any different? The fuel you give it, what you eat and drink, directly affects how you feel, think, and perform. You can't expect to operate at your best if you're constantly feeding your body junk. When you treat your body with care, everything else improves. You gain more energy, sharper focus, and stronger resilience. You're better equipped to tackle challenges, handle stress, and pursue your goals with passion and persistence. So prioritize your health. You only get one body. It's the only home you'll live in for your entire life. Take care of it, and it will take care of you in return. And now that we've covered the importance of physical health, let's talk about something else that greatly affects the quality of your life. Something many people overlook until it becomes a source of stress: your finances. The ninth key to dramatically improving your life is this: take control of your money before it controls you. Let's be clear. Money isn't everything, but the way you manage it can either empower your freedom or limit your future. Financial freedom isn't about being rich. It's about having control, about knowing that your finances support your goals rather than sabotage them. The first step: get clear on where you stand financially. Do you really know how much money is coming in each month? How much is going out? Where exactly is your money going? You might be surprised how many people live with only a vague sense of their financial situation. Without clarity, it's far too easy to overspend, rack up debt, or live paycheck to paycheck without even realizing it. So start with a simple step: create a budget. A budget is just a plan for your money. It doesn't have to be complicated or overwhelming, it just needs to be honest. Track what you spend on essentials like housing, food, and transportation. Look at how much you're saving, how much you're investing, and where your money might be slipping away unnoticed. Once you create a clear picture, you reclaim control. You can make better decisions, intentional choices, and that's where real financial freedom begins. Next, commit to a principle that can change your financial future. Live below your means. Yes, it can be tempting to keep up appearances, to upgrade your lifestyle with every pay raise, to spend more just because you can. But freedom comes not from how much you earn. It comes from spending less than you make. When you live below your means, you create a surplus. And with that surplus, you can save, invest, and build long-term security. But if you don't adopt this principle, the result is simple and dangerous. You risk going broke. Worse, you fall into debt that weighs down your future. So take control now. And once your finances are in order, there's one final key to tie all of this together: a mindset that elevates everything we've covered so far. That's what we'll unlock next. In the previous section, we unlocked the power of financial responsibility, how saving, investing, and living below your means can lead to lasting freedom. Now let's expand on that with a few more life-changing principles that complete the picture of financial mastery and prepare us for one final, transformative mindset. One major obstacle to true financial freedom is debt, especially the kind with high interest, like credit card debt. It may start small, but if left unchecked, the interest compounds quietly and grows into a heavy burden, limiting your ability to save, invest, or build a future with peace of mind. If you're carrying debt, the key is to make a clear, focused plan to eliminate it as quickly as possible. With consistency, discipline, and commitment, you can take control of your debt, and in doing so, take back control of your future. But getting out of debt is only one piece of the puzzle. The next crucial step is making saving and investing a top priority. Many people only think of saving when something urgent comes up, but real financial success means being proactive, not reactive. You should aim to save for both short-term needs, like emergencies, and long-term goals like retirement. The earlier you begin, the greater the advantage, thanks to the power of compound interest. Even modest amounts, if saved and invested consistently, can grow into impressive wealth over time. So don't wait for the perfect moment. Start where you are, with what you have. Make it a rule. Pay yourself first. Treat saving and investing not as an option, but as a non-negotiable part of your monthly routine. As Mr. Schoaf wisely said, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. You could be earning a fantastic income, but if you spend every dollar, you'll never build wealth. True financial security isn't about earning more. It's about being smart with what you earn. If you make $4,000 a month but spend $5,000, the math isn't in your favor. But if you earn less and live below your means, you're already ahead. This is how you build freedom, slowly, steadily, and sustainably. And here's something most people overlook: giving. Yes, giving. It's a financial principle that's both powerful and deeply human. When you give, whether to charity, your local community, or someone in need, you're creating a mindset of abundance. You move away from fear and scarcity and toward generosity and connection. And often, in the most unexpected ways, what you give comes back multiplied. Giving isn't just about money. It's about energy, about sending a message to the world. I have enough, and I choose to share. That attitude, over time, shapes you into someone who attracts more. Someone who grows richer not just in wealth, but in spirit. So make giving a part of your financial life. Because it's not only about the dollars, it's about who you become when you lead with a generous heart. And now we arrive at the 10th and final key to dramatically improving your life: embracing change. Let's face it, change is the one constant in life. It's going to happen whether we want it or not. The question is, will you fight it or embrace it? Those who resist change often find themselves stuck, frustrated, and left behind. But those who welcome change, who adapt, who evolve, they're the ones who thrive. Yes, change can be uncomfortable, even scary. But here's the truth. Growth only happens outside your comfort zone. If you truly want to improve your life, you must be willing to walk into the unknown, to take risks, and to challenge the patterns you've held on to for too long. That includes letting go of old habits, outdated beliefs, and sometimes even relationships that no longer serve your growth. The most powerful change you can ever make is the change within yourself. Personal. Growth is about becoming the best version of who you were meant to be, and that requires constant transformation. It demands that you confront your fears, break through your limitations, and never stop striving for more. Because here's the truth. The moment you stop growing is the moment you begin to decline. So ask yourself, where in your life are you resisting change? Is it your career? Are you clinging to a job that drains you instead of fulfills you? Is it in your relationships? Are you avoiding difficult but necessary conversations? Or perhaps it's in your daily habits, the routines that keep you from leveling up? Take an honest look, then make a courageous choice to embrace the changes that can move you forward. Change isn't your enemy. It's your greatest ally in this journey of self-mastery. When you embrace change, you unlock doors you never knew existed. You start to see opportunities that were hidden behind fear. You begin to grow in ways you never imagined, stronger, wiser, and more resilient with each challenge you face. Yes, change comes with uncertainty. The unknown can feel intimidating. But remember, nothing great ever happens in the comfort zone. Everything you want, growth, success, fulfillment, it all lives on the other side of change. So instead of resisting, try this. See it as an adventure, a new chapter, a chance to reinvent yourself over and over again. The more you practice embracing change, the more adaptable you become. And with that adaptability comes power. The power to handle anything life throws your way. Now that we've covered all 10 life-changing keys, let's take a moment to pull it all together. Previously, we explored the transformative power of embracing change. How stepping outside your comfort zone is often the first step toward the life you truly desire. Now let me share a story that brings that idea to life. I once worked with a man who had been in the same stable job for over 20 years. He had security, a steady paycheck, and a predictable routine. On the outside, everything seemed fine. But inside, he felt something was missing. He wasn't fulfilled. Deep down, he carried a dream of starting his own business. But year after year, he hesitated. Why? Because taking that leap meant leaving behind the comfort and safety he had known for 2 decades. Eventually, though, he made the decision that would change everything. He chose to stop waiting. He embraced the uncertainty, faced the fear, and launched his business. It wasn't easy. But within a few years, not only was he more successful than he had ever been before, but he was also more alive, fulfilled, energized, and passionate about what he was doing. That one change, as terrifying as it was, opened the door to a life he had only imagined. The lesson? Change is inevitable. The real question is, will you let it shape you, or will you shape it? Are you going to be pushed around by the changes life throws at you? Or are you going to take those changes and use them to fuel your growth? When you embrace change, you stop living reactively. You start living intentionally. You stop letting life happen to you, and you begin to make life happen for you. A great way to build this mindset is to get comfortable with discomfort. Deliberately put yourself in situations that stretch you. Say yes to challenges. Try new things. Push past your perceived limits. With every step outside your comfort zone, your confidence grows. Your resilience strengthens. And slowly, you begin to realize change isn't a threat. It's a teacher. Another powerful key to navigating change? Keep a positive attitude. Yes, change can be difficult. It can feel disruptive, uncertain, even painful. But it's all about your perspective. Instead of seeing change as something you're losing, try seeing it as something you're gaining. Because every change, no matter how tough, brings with it a lesson. It offers you the chance to evolve, to learn, and to rise higher than before. Here's something you can try right now. Think back to a major change in your life. Maybe it was a job shift, the end of a relationship, or a big move to a new city. How did that moment shape who you are today? What did you learn from it? Looking back, can you see how even the hard parts led to something meaningful? Chances are, you'll realize that those difficult transitions brought unexpected blessings. That's the power of perspective. Change is the gateway to growth. The more you embrace it, the more you expand your possibilities. The more you accept it, the more you open yourself to opportunities you never saw coming. Don't shy away from change. Lean into it. Let it stretch you. Let it teach you. Let it help you become who you're meant to be. And now, as we approach the end of this journey together, there's something important I want to remind you of. These 10 keys don't stand alone. They are deeply connected. You can't set goals without the discipline to follow through. You can't manage your time well if you're constantly overwhelmed by your emotions. You can't embrace change unless you're also committed to learning and growing. Every key builds on the others. Together, they create a system for living, a life of progress, purpose, and personal power. So take a moment to reflect. Which area in your life needs the most attention right now? Maybe your goals are still a bit vague. Maybe discipline is where you tend to fall short. Or perhaps you're surrounded by people who don't support your growth. Whatever it is, start there. Focus on one key. Begin making small, intentional adjustments. And keep showing up for yourself. Because small steps, taken consistently, become unstoppable momentum. And here's what I want you to remember above all else. You have the power to design your life. No matter your current circumstances, no matter your past, you hold the ability to change, to grow, to rise, and to achieve the vision you hold in your heart. But it starts with you, your choices, your mindset, your habits. So make the decision today. Take full ownership. Set meaningful goals. Build discipline. Surround yourself with greatness. Guard your time. Master your emotions. Care for your body. Take control of your finances. Embrace the unknown. And above all, never stop growing. Because at the end of the day, the only real limits are the ones you accept. So dream boldly. Take action. And never ever settle for less than the person you're capable of becoming. Thank you so much for watching. If this video inspired you, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with someone who's ready to level up their life. You never know. It might be exactly what they need to hear today.